In this video, we're going to be looking at Google Fonts. I'm here. I have this lobster font that I want to use because it's cool, and plus it's ridiculous because it's called lobster. But before we begin, what I want to do is let y'all know that this example.py and example.js file we're not using. I just kind of have a general purpose folder for different code examples. So just ignore these top two. We're only going to be looking at index.html and styles.css. So let's come back here and say you want to use this. How do we go about doing that? Well, first you have to click select the style. So we have this, and there's 1, 2, and then 3 ways that we could download this. The first is we could bring it in as a link. So let's come ahead and do that. And where we would place it is actually in the head element here. And you want to do it before you bring in your own style sheet, so that way when you go to reference it in your style sheet, it knows that it's available. We're clicking save right there, and nothing's going on. We got yo mama, I need some tacos and some tequila now. But how do I use this? And it's cool because they give you this nice little, cheat thing you could copy right here. So we just want to change the H1. So let's do that. I'm going to come in, hit save, and refresh because I'm not using my live server. And now we have this nice thick cursive style lobster font right here, which is really nice. But maybe you're using more than one kind of font. I don't know. You're playing around with stuff. Maybe you're doing a project, right? And what happens is you just don't delete at a certain point. This could get bloated really, really, really quickly. For one font family, you're bringing in, 3 of these. But if you're trying out with 10 more, right, this could get really bloated. So let's delete this. And let's actually come up here and click add import. And you see this opening and closing style element right here. Sorry, the page ended up moving there. But this is telling you could put this in your head tag, and it's acting as like your CSS. So I want it in a separate file. So knowing that it needs it specifically inside of a open and closing style element, that also means that like legally, right? Not in like a law sense, but with the logic of CSS, we could store that in an external file as well, and it will work. So let's come on in. Let's open that up. I'm going to click save. And we're going to refresh this, and we see that it still works, which is super, super, super cool. But what if like the internet goes down or something goes down? If you're using these links right here and making these network calls, you may, I know it has a default cursive here for you, but what if there's another way? And there is a third way we could do it. So let's come over here and click download all. So we get this lobster zip right here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this on in from another screen. But once I unzipped it, I'm just going to bring it in here. So now I have this file, nothing's being displayed, but you notice this .ttf. And there's a few different files that you could use to do this with. This is just a .ttf file, but that's not the only kind of font file that exists out in the ecosystem. So if I wanted to nuke this right here, how would I go about, kind of fixing this up? And I could come up here and do this. So we have this, we have the font right here. So let's just call this, I don't know, let's just call this lobster right here. We'll call this lobster, but then we need a URL. And since everything is in the right directory here, typically you would want these files in their own folder or on a CDN somewhere else, but we're not covering that. But if your file starts to get big, make sure you have these organized on out. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to come in and I'm just going to go and copy the relative path here. And I'm going to put that in. I'm going to hit save. So everything looks good there. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just go And then come on over, refresh, and you see that it is still working and maintaining its, font right here. There's no link being brought in. There's no URL call being made. This is now this font face right here. We're giving it a name, which is just Lobster, just renaming it what, originally was called. We're saying where's the source, and this means locally. And then right here, we're just reusing the font family from line 2 that we're using, and everything seems to be working. If you like what I'm doing, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.